Since the mid-20th century, farming has been defined by the drive for efficiency and higher yields. Industrial agriculture has reshaped the landscape with massive machines, chemical fertilizers, and genetically modified crops designed to produce more food faster. But along the way, the land has paid a heavy price. Soils are exhausted, water is contaminated, and biodiversity is disappearing. As we face climate change and the shifting global population, the cracks in this system are showing. There is another way to grow our food, one that doesn't just take from the land, but it gives back. Regenerative farming is about restoring soil, water, and ecosystems while still feeding people. Not only feeding, but nourishing. And then there is natural farming. A method so simple, it's revolutionary. Developed by farmer and philosopher Masanobu Fukuoka, natural farming is based on the principle of minimal intervention.
We don't need a paper that tells us what to do first, second, and third, but simply to observe nature and then move with our instincts.
Natural farming can take many forms, but generally it involves no chemicals, no plowing, no tilling, and no pruning. Just nature working as it was intended. I came to practice and deepen my understanding about natural farming to a small farm that is making a big difference.
I feel that this kind of agriculture is the future. We come from the very ancient time in which this was a kind of agriculture, no? That was very, very near to the natural rhythms. Then we forgot it, and I think we got astray. And now we, as humankind, are coming back to this, coming back to respect, observe, and follow the rhythms of the nature and of the seasons. So that's beautiful for me. That is the past and also the future.
But what makes natural farming stand out from other types of regenerative agriculture?
I can say that the differences between natural farming or permaculture or food forest or any kind of regenerative agriculture, it is like the light is the same, but the lamps are different. They all move to the direction of awakening the soil with different practices, maybe from different directions, but the main goal is always to awake the soil. The main differences between natural farming and all the other regenerative agriculture, I believe, is the philosophical part of the natural farming, which is like an endless ocean. It is like a bit, let's say like this, a bird, when a bird makes the nest, no one gives the instruction to the bird. Simply learning, this bird is learning by watching the mother and then moving with instinct and still makes the perfect nest. Like we don't need a paper that tells us what to do first, second, and third, but simply to observe nature and then move with our instincts. And this is, I believe, the main separation between natural farming and all the other ways of regenerative farming. Well, it looks every year different actually. Like even the way that we sow, even the seeds that germinate, like everything is continuously changing. And my starting point is always I know nothing. And let's say the little part that my mind is enters in the game is when the rain season starts, I start sowing seeds. And I keep on sowing. All the rain season. So this is the only moment, let's say, that the mind enters in the game. But apart from that, I see that it is continuously changing. Like what we harvest from one year to another is changing. The seeds changes. The seeds that are germinating and going to the maturity are changing. So if I would hold an idea of, okay, this is the way, probably I would make mistakes. But I repeat to myself that I know nothing and just keep on sowing seeds without putting any mental approach on it. So, like this year, for example, after practicing natural farming 3 years, which was up to last year, beginning of this year, I had felt from observing the land that it was in a good state. It was ready for, let's say, establishing a very big vegetable garden. And this year almost over an hectare of vegetable garden is established by simply sowing the cover crop and cutting them on the right moment, and then sowing and transplanting the vegetables.
Natural farming is called do nothing farming also. You said that the good farmer is like a chicken.
Well, do nothing farming doesn't mean that you lie down under a persimmon tree and then wait that persimmons fall to your mouth. This would be abandoning the land. But it is more like a chicken living on the farm that wakes up with the first light in the morning and always active during the day. All day it is moving around. Leaves some manure here, moves some seeds over there, scratch some soil over here. All day it is in the continuous movement. And in the end of the day, when the sunset comes, goes to sleep. And in the end of the day, when you look at the chicken, it didn't have any intention of working or improving the soil fertility or establishing a natural farm. It was simply moving with empty mind, with its own instincts, but it was in action whole day. And all the actions that chicken took during the day offers naturally to the soil fertility and the creation of a natural farm without even chicken being aware of it. So it is the same process for us. If we can live a natural life in a harmony with nature that follow the natural rhythm, we don't need to think or plan or follow an instruction, but simply each action that we will be taking during the day will offer naturally to the fertility of the soil and also the creation of a natural farm.
What was your own journey to arrive at this point of seeing natural farming as the way? Was it always natural farming for you, or did you have a transition?
Well, I born and raised in a city, and I studied many years, and I had no connection with the land, to be honest. And 15 years ago, if you would have shown me a pepper plant without fruit on it, I wouldn't be able to recognize it. But at some point I had an inner call, and I was feeling that I would end up living somewhere on a, let's say, mountainside. And I said, I need to grow my food. And I started to research how could I grow my own food. And I met with permaculture, food forests, and natural farming, Fukuoka. And when you read Fukuoka, it is entering to your heart and opens another dimension towards the nature and towards also the farming itself, and also towards your own self. And then I decided to see the practical part of it, because when I read it, it seemed to me an utopia, a very beautiful utopia, said, okay, I would like to see in the practice. And then I started to travel around the world and meet with the students of Fukuoka and see in different climates, in different places, different soil conditions, how the natural farming is applied. And after a journey of in total maybe 10 years almost, then I found myself as a farmer in Italy, in the Shizen Farm. It is very possible that you don't you don't need any chemicals or any kind of substances that are coming from outside sources, especially the chemical ones. But let's say 4 hectares is already on the limit for a person to take care of it. If you like to have a beautiful abundance of nature and grow your own food and even sell some products, I think 1 hectare for one person is so beautiful and so joyful. Like you can enjoy with the nature, you can have your abundance and sell still the products and enjoy with your friends and with your family the moments. And of course, the bigger that the land gets, the, let's say, the capacity of taking care of that land, it goes always lower and lower. Maybe not the chemicals, but you might think that you need some machineries, which this is the, I think, thin line about it.
Siempre tengo miedo que me voy a acostar.
And what can we tell to someone who thinks that the only way to do serious agriculture is by having machinery and by managing a big plot of land?
Well, this is a trap. Like, it is simply, like, we don't even need to say anything, but simply ask them to look at the modern agriculture, how it developed over the years. Like, without even expressing personal opinion. Just like 30 years ago, in Italy, a farmer could sustain a family, the whole family, by the food and by the economic aspect of the life, with only a couple of hectares of land. 2 and 3 hectares, they could eat and sustain the whole family. And only after 30 years, like not very long time, only after 30 years, the children of those farmers who inherited those couple of hectares from their parents, now either they have to sell those lands or they have to go and work in the factory or somewhere else to maintain those lands. And today in Italy, if you follow the modern agriculture principles, which is flower the soil and use the chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, fertilizers, up to 5 hectares of land, it is more convenient to go and work for someone else rather than working your own land. Today it became 5 hectares, and it is getting always more and more. So this was an intentional movement of removing all the small-scale farmers, so that the land falls in the hands of the multinational companies or just a group of people that manage the whole food system in the world. So it is more than us saying something, but simply just look how the modern agriculture developed up to now, and you can already see it by yourself. What is the direction and what is the intention that they are putting on. It is really like a trap, Paula. Like you think, like living in a city rhythm, like you think you are doing many things, but your soul is empty. Like actually your body is everywhere, but your soul never arrives to any of those places. It is like an always here and there, and it's a big confusion. You don't do with your soul present in it. And it is really like a trap. It seems that you are doing many things, but in the end of the day, actually you do nothing. But we need to go slow down, more calmer rhythms. Even simply follow the rhythm of the nature. This doesn't mean that there is nothing to do. There are periods where You need to be very active in the farm because it is the time to sow, it is the time to plant, or it is the time to harvest, and you need to be active. But there are moments, basically time doesn't exist. Like after mid-November till March, more or less, the time simply doesn't exist.
There is one question that we often get asked when we work in the fields of like small-scale agriculture, regenerative agriculture, which is, can this type of farming feed the world? Which is a bit of an annoying question, because when this question is asked, it is by thinking that industrial agriculture can feed the world, natural farming cannot.
Actually, I believe it is one of the points. Like in the end, we should have food for everyone. This is very obvious, but it is a big lie actually that we have been told so many times, and they put in front of us by saying that without those machineries and the chemical substances, we cannot have food for everyone. But it is simply a lie. And to confirm this lie, or to understand that if it is really a lie, just look at the world. We have all those machines, we have all those chemicals, but still a big part of the world is in hunger. Because this has never been an intention of the humanity to feed the whole humanity. And if you want to confirm it, why are we cultivating tobacco? Why are we cultivating sugar, for example? Humanity could live a healthier life without those substances, and we could cultivate food in those areas. But it is not our intention to grow food for everyone. But it is simply a lie that they are promoting the modern agriculture by simply saying, without the machinery and without the chemical substances, we cannot grow food for everyone. It is not true. It is the opposite actually. We can only grow food for everyone without those machineries. Because when you don't have those big machines, you use each centimeter of the land. The harvest for each square meter, it goes almost 10 times more compared to using a big machinery and then cultivating hundreds and hundreds of hectares.
I read that small-scale producers produce around 80% of the food that we eat, whereas industrial agriculture occupies a lot more land. Perhaps we don't need to scale up the small productions like this one, but we need more farmers on the land, more small-scale farmers.
And if we do it simply, no one can even control the humanity. If you look at the direction that we take, it seems that whole food and the water resources are falling in the hands of a few private and multinational companies. And who controls the food and the water can control the whole humanity basically. But if we grow our own food, we are free.
No, non la mangerei.
In my circles, I hear a lot of people with this desire of returning, with this desire of cultivating again. Is it something that you see around, like young people having this desire also?
Yeah, if I may talk about Italy, I see that there are very big movements, a lot of young people that are returning back to the land, starting to cultivate and grow their own food, and not only, also their talents they bring to where they go back in the countryside. And I see very big movements that are taking place in the world lately.
Scegli un bicchiere. Prendi un bicchiere.
It's also something that we see here in the farm, where you welcome volunteers, and there's more. It's not just about farming; it's so much more.
As it is written there, the real purpose of agriculture is not to grow food, but it is simply the perfection of a human being, and that goes hand to hand with the community and.
For someone wanting to start their own natural farming project, like someone owning a small piece of land, what would be the first step they could take right now to
If you start today, you can start sowing by sowing seeds. This would be let's say, always working way that you can start in any moment. Of course, depends on the season, in which moment of the year you are. But let's say the starting point and also the way itself is to keep on sowing more and more seeds. And of course, there will be some little applications depending on the season or the moment. But the general moment, let's say, or the general idea is to keep on sowing more seeds.